Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm going to just quickly stress test the recent changes that I did for the add-ons to see if there are any bugs that I didn't see or anything like that. So let's begin. I'm just going to model the base mesh, and what I'm really interested in testing out is the shaders. So from the last update video, yes, you can see that the app-in materials can now has 5 materials, and it also has the glass shaders on it, which I used on an earlier model. Oh, there it is, mod utils not defined. So what this means is that I need to remove the mod utils keyword in order for this to work. So this won't work this time. I have not. So let's just do the old school. Cursor selected and cylinder. And I want to make this part of the mesh, but I don't want to connect it. Oh God, rotating. Oh, it's supposed to be okay. Let's repeat that. Sorry about that. Let's go to the front, and it's actually the front. Going to add it on edit mode and make it. Since I'm going to mirror this, I'm go made it go past the Y symmetry line there. I mean the Z axis symmetry line. Auto mirror X, Y, and Z. That apply the mesh and going to array this. Select looped inner region. This one as well. Pass circle array on the Z axis and make it 4. Okay. Um, Pass circle array 4. Get rid of the doubles. Pass move and model this. So this part is where I will use the glass shader, separate it, and create the inner workings. The axis, and then so the next update, in order to apply the mirror modifier, you just need to press control and then click on the apply mesh operator to apply the mirror. Then you can reestablish the auto mirror if you want. So, but this time, I think we just need to wrap the base mesh a bit and then apply the reestablish the array and then the mirror. Okay. Selecting this side. Select loop and a region. Auto mirror. This side here, X, Y, and Z. And then, oh, no, no, no. Path circle array first. Create this, remove the doubles, and then reestablish the mirror. Actually, I need this to be symmetrical, at least this object here. So the steps are wrong, but it's not really that big. Just going to save this as another cylinder and also remove this. So I decided to just keep this as a separate object. Okay, but for this one, I'm going to establish the mirror. So X, Y, and Z. Add a few more um, edge loop for increased resolution. This is how the randomizer can have more faces to play with. So this solve, I think this is yeah limited solve, and then we need to make this quad X Y X. Okay. Then here we need to set the origin to geometry, and now it's actually the geometry is uneven. We need to mirror this first, Z axis. Oh no. Cursor selected, origin to 3D cursor, and then mirror Z axis. Apply the mirror, or maybe not. Increase the resolution here, 8. So we don't need to subdivide this farther than 1 to avoid the bonding when subdividing using the operators to subdivide the cylinder. There's because the subdivision when using Python script is different. It acts like this subdivision here. It acts like this. So you can see at level 2, you can already see the banding. It doesn't act like the subsurb modifier where you can put like supporting edges in order to of course keep everything sharp and avoid also the surfaces are kept smooth, so it's different from the subset modifier. Okay. um Also, okay, establish the mirror, auto mirror, this one, x xy, there we go. So after we establish the design, we can then circle array that to the rest of the geometry. So it will have the same design. Okay, save this. I'm going to save this using mesh. Save. So I can go back to the design whenever I want. In case I messed up, and you can just, so for example, this is the mesh. You can just use any of the data here. You might have to auto smooth and reestablish the mirror, but the data is still there. There we go. And yeah, let's start detailing this. Render files. I'm going to. So I've created presets for Final Cut as well, and quick displacement. Smooth 50, which means repeat of 50 in the smoothing, and subdivision 5. Actually, I will reduce this to subdivision level 1 in the update. Okay. Let's use one of the presets here, merge heavy destructive, and just increase the subdivision. So all presets will be like this. It will have 0 subdivision to avoid crashes on high resolution selections. So it is up to you to increase that resolution very carefully based on the resolution of your selected faces. Minus 0.02, 0.02. Okay. So the presets are great if you're starting out with add-on or even in Blender. You can create stuff like this pretty quickly. So the what you need to know is the operators mostly react on the topology. So make your topology light, evenly spaced, and create some random edge loop here and there that doesn't have even spacing to create some flavor in the randomization. I'll show you later after this one, and create an example using a plane. Okay. But first, we need to look for something for design here that looks good. Actually, we can use partition, but yeah, let's just be quick with this since I'm mostly interested in the shader anyway, to test the shader. So I have also rebaked the textures used in the shaders to 4K JPEG images. So it's big, but it's in JPEG, so it's lighter. So it's in 4K. So even if you use larger scaling, if you use it on an object and make the textures bigger, it will still look crisp or sharp. Okay, increase the distance, maybe not. Okay. Let's not include this in the randomization. There we go. There's a bit of noise here. I think this is because of the margin, and also thickness also contributes here as well. Yeah, since just gonna use it for concept art, all these shapes. But if you're going to use it for something like a game, so you need to tone down the randomization a bit, because for this kind of level topology, I think it's best for something like a movie where you are more where you have more freedom with the topology and the resolution count. So for games, you need to change your workflow a bit, but you can use the add-on for something like games, because you just need to change your workflow when dealing with add-on. Okay, I think we're good. So there's detail on what I'm looking for is I think this is good because there's detailed areas and it's in places where you want it to be, and also there's plenty of relaxed areas. So that's good. Okay, next up is this one here. So let's just uh, to be quick, let's just avoid the. Okay, let's just avoid using the partition operator and quickly get to it. So you can see the subdivision level 2. All you already need. You already have the banding. You can get rid of that using limited dissolve, but you get rid of the quad structure. So if you want to keep the quad structure, you need to limit your subdivision to cuts to 1, even using cylindrical shapes. For organic forms which flow like it's much different than cylinder. So you need to just watch out for the banding. It mostly appears with the cylinder. But if you want to keep like I said, if you want to keep the quad structure, just do what I did, because increase the resolution manually. Uh, can either create the cylinder and instead of using 32 vertices, you create 64. Then just add more edge loops using Control R. So this means that the base cylinder is already um, smooth with enough resolution that you don't need to subdivide anymore to create the faces necessary for the increased detail using the random operators. So the face is already there. You can then just play around with the panel size. So the face is already there. And I think this is what number is it? One? Yeah, one. Panel size of 5 to 36. So I'm mostly using number, but the operator starts out at percentage. I switch to number. So it's much more, yeah, I think this is good. It's much can let you have more control using the number. But with percentage, it's much quicker because you don't have to deal with, you can just slide the values. You don't have to deal with the, um, for quick results, you can just use percentage, but number lets you have more control. Okay, let's use this. And finally, uh, let's apply the mirror first, because if we array this, it's going to create chaos. Okay. Um, Control click on the apply mesh operator and then select everything. Selecting this, we're going to use this as the center pivot. Control cursor selected, and select this. With everything selected, pass circle array, origin, uh, 3D cursor. There we go. Alt H. So this is our glass, and we're going to create thickness. Control FS. So you can use solidify here, but I'll just make it a true geometry. Control FS, F9, and then F9 to bring up the radio panel, and then you can control the thickness. Okay. Alt H, and selecting everything, using this as the pivot point, using the 3D cursor as pivot point. Control Shift X, fast circle array, 3D cursor. Okay. And actually, I think we can change this. Change the display of this visibility. Object viewport display as wire. There we go. So you can see the inside solid bounds. No, just texture. Okay, wire. Okay, so this is the glass. But if you get rid of the overlay, for example here, the overlay. Yeah, this is the overlay. Show overlays, and but without the overlay, you can see the object. Also, turning off the overlays basically cleans out the viewport. You also will not see the 3D cursor anymore. And this is great for okay, some vanilla blender tutorial. So for example, this is a character and you're going to use, still using sculpt to grab a surface and pull and push and pull on it. You can press O, you can use edit mode and you can press O to activate proportional editing and then grab. So if this were something organic and you want to see the surface detail without the vertices and the edges and the faces getting in the way, you can just turn off the overlay. You're still in edit mode, you still grab that vertex is still selected. You can grab. That's really great. Okay, as for the panel, which I said earlier, so like I said, most of the operators will be topology dependent, which means that it is going, the result will be directly affected by the resolution of your selected faces and also the topology. So even squares like this, um, for example, let's use random panels. That, but if you introduce some edge loops to the topology, make everything random. Everything has to be quads or tri because the scripts cannot subdivide in God. So if you, especially if you make it like that or something like that. So for this, most of the details will probably be constricted on those areas. It creates different effects. And if we use 100%, there we go. And yeah, in, there we go. So this is the area which have um, thinner faces, and this is the area which has those equal sized faces, and you can see the difference. So you can control the result of the, and this is the subdivided geometry. You can see the effect of those added edge loops. So it creates flavor. You can just add flavor to the result of the randomization by just adding a few random edge loop manually. Okay, we're going to introduce random color. So I renamed the gray color to no saturation. Click on this and by default it's going to be object. You can just change it to island select or sharp. We're going to use sharp, and hopefully sharp is probably the slowest because if the object has a lot of sharp, uh, maybe I shouldn't have, there we go. Shouldn't have selected, okay, this, just this one. and mark sharp. There you go. So it is the slowest because of how much sharp faces it generates, or sharp face highlights it generates during the operation of the script based on the sharpness and low threshold. So to make it faster, I'm just going to get rid of the rest X stuff and just use this for the operation. This is the slowest one. And then selecting everything, just use array again. Cursor to selected. And circle. Ready cursor. There we go. And I think we're ready to test out the shaders. I'm also going to show you how you can quickly use the lights. I think the preset that I most enjoy is actually the in random cells, the lights. So by default, it just creates those tiny squares that you can use as lights. It's also going to activate the floater mesh toggle, which means that it's not going to generate shadows or reflections of the mesh underneath. So the viewer will see that it's kind of a part of the mesh underneath. It's not a separate object. Later, I'll show you that. But let's just set up the HDRI, and this is the appropriate one, Klufendal 38. Okay, there we go. Let's do the let's up in the shaders, shading, up in materials. You can see here, up identify materials. For this one, I'm going to use the gloss. The gloss. Okay. And this one's let's try the I'm going to use this is cylinder. In order to use the textures for this, I should have actually just UV'd it first. When randomizing like that, it actually inherits the UV. So my mistake. I should have UV'd this first, but I'm just going to use the no texture on this, the airflow metal. And for this one, I'm going to use the panel hard. And let's see the result. So this is the initial result. And for quick and dirty UVing, we can just use Smart UV Project. Then we're going to edit the setup of the initiator. So this is not going to be drag and drop and then you have an awesome textured model. You need to also modify the shaders that comes with it, depending on your model and also the size of your model. Let's choose a different shader on the top part. For this one, we're going to use, or I am going to use the Airflow metal to avoid the texture. And, and on this part right here, I'm going to use the textured shader to create additional detail. Okay, let's see about the Airflow metal. I'm going to add bevel shader on this. It's on this one here, on the Airflow funnel heart. Oh, it already has the. So let me just copy the value that I set here, 0.00. Let's use 0.005 exactly. Control C. Oh, okay. So we need to hit the lights. We need to bring the light source. Link flat faces. And increase the degrees to include more faces. Okay, link flat faces, and then do not use vertex color, and let's just modify the material. Change this to emit, and in a shader, let's use emission shader. Change this to a colored one, 20, and let's test it out. Okay, now I need to array this so I don't have to select those faces again. Extras fast circle array. Did I create a copy by distance? No. About 8. Let's create a floor. cursor selected. So the in Blender, the add object system adds the object in the position of the view and the position of the 3D cursor in the viewport in the 3D viewport. So like that, if you click on there, so you can use that advantage to your advantage to accurately place stuff, even stuff like bones for your character, especially with the fingers, the hand, and this one new. So roughness 8, specular 0.05. Okay, in let's go to front view 1, and then this part here we're going to make uh, make it smaller. This part here we're going to make a back wall, and then use the bevel to make this softer. So micro bevel, use bevel, are the normals, increase the amount, and increase the segments, something like 6 or 8. Okay, and we need to make sure that these will follow the camera when we are in camera view. So zoom in and then lock, activate depth of field as well. So selecting the background object or the floor, uh, constraints, copy the rotation of your active camera, and toggle off XY so it only will constrain or copy the rotation of the camera and the Z-axis. This will not work in normal view. This will only work in camera view. And you can see that the background is actually will always face the camera. But you have to do it like I did it. You need to use the front. You need to use the front view by pressing 1, and then just extrude the back, in the back, create the back wall right here. Okay, next up is the shadow of the background. We can get rid of that by selecting the background again, and here we need to deactivate shadow. Okay, to control the sharpness of the background, you can just go to the modifier and control the amount of the bevel. So you need to. So there's a bit of a vignette on the top side. I think we can push this farther. Oh, it's because of the shader. Now everywhere you rotate, the background will always face the camera. Okay, let's set the resolution to 1024. Go and set the focal length to 80 and create depth of field. Okay, click on here and make empty and focus. There's an empty there. It's going to be the focus object. And when you control the DLF proximity, it will get closer to the camera. And at 0, it will go back to its original position. Okay, now let's create the light. Those tiny lights, those Christmas lights. But first, since the operator doesn't generate its own shader, we need to add for the object that you're going to use. You can manually add the lights later on the object generated object. But if you want to see it live, you can operate the operator while the viewport is rendering. So that's good, depending on your machine, of course. So if you want to see it live, you need to add the emit or create the emit shader, and selecting it makes it the active object. But in the stack, this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. Okay, the first object is 0. There's an offset, -1 offset. Okay, let's create the light. So let's see. -1 means that it will find the active material and use that as the material for the generated random object. And if you increase this 0, 0 means the R flow panel hard, 1 is second, and the third is the emit. So since we have the emit as the active, and just use -1. Then now I'll have to edit the count of the lights and also increase the subdivision to make the generated faces smaller. So you can see that the redo panel is still here because we didn't do any other action. We're just rendering doesn't count as an undo action. So it didn't overlap the previous operation. Okay, that looks good. So if you like most of the patterns, but you spot some lights in areas that you don't like, but the overall pattern you like, then you can just select the random object and let's see. So we need to find the real geometry, select everything in order for the faces to be highlighted. Okay, so switch to face selection. It's right here, or you can use number 3, and then press C, circle select, deselect everything. Press C, circle select, and then you can just brush on the faces, and then that you don't want, and then X, and then F. So you can go XF without ever using the mouse. So XF. So in the menus in Blender, the highlighted letter is the shortcut. You can also use, I think, number for this, X. So vertex is 1, edges is 2, and face is 3. I think X3. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can also use the numbers for that. Okay? Not just the highlighted letter. Okay. So I don't like this. It's F. So the thing with circle select, you cannot change the view while you're in circle select. Okay. C, there. You can't change the view angle. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this here. Okay, that's great. I think that's good. Um, for these dudes, can I will generate the lights on just the inside. Think. So select this. Make sure it goes for full circle. Selecting this as well. And so now we have a closed loop and select loop in a region. I'm going to face selection number 3 and control I to invert the selection. Then I'm going to, uh, wait, control I, invert, but I won't with this just because I'm going to array the lights here as well, generated lights. Yeah, I think that's good. I don't have to worry about the symmetry because there's auxiliary objects anyway, auxiliary design. Cursor selected, we're going to use the center object as the pivot point again. Select everything because fast circle array works on selected faces. The unselected faces it will remove or delete. 3D cursor, then you can see it arrayed on the other objects. Alt H to bring up the glass again on the floor. Now all we need to do is play around with the settings. Not the settings, the HDRI. Okay, I need to tone down the inner lights a bit. This one here. Selecting everything. Make sure that, let's go to material, set it back, assign this to the selected faces. And here, I'm just going to set it, set the lights on these faces. Assign. And also here, assign. establish the mirror on the z-axis. I'm going to um, super array this. Wait, yeah, circle array this. L control, okay, and to I don't need to delete the plus circle operator will do that. 3D cursor. There we go. This is the R panel soft, and this is hard. Okay, let's try and render this using just the samples. I'm going to use nodes on composition composer. I'm using the composer nodes. So and also create an add here. 0.4 brightness and contrast. Add lighten. I think this is just this has been vignette. Lens distortion. Okay, let's try this. And where's the sharpness? Okay, 0.5 on the sharpness. And render. Okay, the lights are too much. So let's set this to the size of 6. Okay. And Okay, let's try and re-render. I think we need. I want to get the lights going on the circle. I mean the center of the object, but I'm not. Let's parent this. Create an empty on the middle. And select all the mesh type objects and then parent it to the created empty. Now we can control the empty and the whole design will move with it. Okay, let's go to number one, hide this and set this like this, that, Alt H, and move it like this. Oh, move it like this. There we go. Oh, I forgot. The shaders comes with RGB, not vertex color, so you have to change it as well. I forgot the design is using vertex color. Also in the our flow panel, let's just copy this node. Control C on this node, the highlighted node. Control V here, and then connect it right here. Okay, let's try rendering this. I'm going back to the composer. Let's try render this. Okay. I think this looks much better in this configuration. So we can't see much of the detail, the glass, because we're using really low samples. But if we're going to use 1024, 2048 samples, I think we can appreciate the glass more, but that's good. The light is good too. You can, once you've done with the randomization, you can come in to the model and make your own or manually put in your own design. Okay, just to support the, you don't have to actually make the randomization do all the work. You can come in and make your own design like, afterwards. This is really good. Let's try other HDRI and also other angles. I'm going to try and add a lamp. So clicking on this. So in order for the 3D cursor to stick on into surfaces, go here. Um, no, W. Okay, where's that? Somewhere around here. E. Shift E. No, where is it? Space. Oh, shift space. Okay, shift space. 3D cursor. Select the 3D cursor and in where's it? The here tool. Go to toggle on surface project. So anytime you click the 3D cursor, it sticks onto surfaces. Really helpful. Okay, and then I'll just have I can go back to back select, so I can do this and select stuff. Okay, click on here and in track, make lamp and track. It will create the lamp, create an empty and lamp on the 3D cursor, and then make the lamp track the empty. What error? Oh, the intersect mesh. I need to change. I need to change the header. Rotates. Okay, let's try and view this. Um, use follow up. Okay, so use area, and then just resize it. So using the black body, you can use this presets here. Let's use this and render. Let's go back to the compositor and render. So this is what we get, and the glass needs a bit of work. Yeah, looks clearer. Okay, let's render that. And there you go. This will look better at higher samples. Then you can probably use 200% of the image textures to make it look sharper and use higher samples and edit it in Photoshop or GIMP for to accentuate to basically uh, amplify the artistic effect. But this is a great start. Yeah, lights are good too. So yeah, I think yeah, I can experiment for hours. I think the modeling is really easy. When you come into 3D, you think that the modeling is the The modeling and sculpting is the hardest part. No, it's the texturing, the lighting, the shading is are the hardest part. The modeling is the easiest part. The hardest to master is the lighting, shading, and yeah, after the modeling. So the when I started out, I thought modeling was pretty hard. It's actually pretty easy. The hardest is what comes after modeling. That's the hardest part. Okay, so yeah, um, that is it for this video, and I'm just doing some final checks before the eventual update. Um, as you can see, I did find some bugs, and once I've ironed out everything, I will be updating. You will receive an email that says the stores are updated, and all you have to do is log into that store and go to your product library or something, and then you can upload the free updates there. Okay, the email doesn't have link. You need to actually log into the store and get the copy yourself. Okay, so that is it for this video. If you have any questions, use the comment section below or the links in the description. Thank you for watching, and you have a nice day.